Good evening. A story of international significance is inflating over London tonight, a story that frankly makes all other news feel rather pedestrian. We are, of course, referring to the imminent return of a 20-foot inflatable caricature of the current American president, a giant airborne baby. We go now to our correspondent Susan, who is standing by at a location of profound national importance. Susan, I believe you are at a secret, undisclosed location?
That's correct, Neil. I'm at what security officials have described as Blimp Command. For operational security reasons, I can only reveal that I am somewhere south of the river and within earshot of a man who is passionately and unsuccessfully trying to start a lawnmower. The atmosphere here is tense.
One can only imagine. Now, Susan, for those of our viewers who have been living in a blissful state of ignorance, could you briefly describe the object at the center of this diplomatic maelstrom?
Of course, Neil. The object in question is a 6-meter high inflatable crafted from PVC. It depicts the President of the United States, Donald Trump, as an infant. He is orange, clad in a nappy, and is clutching a smartphone, presumably to share his unfiltered thoughts with the world. It is, for all intents and purposes, a gigantic floating tantrum.
A floating tantrum. A wonderfully succinct and utterly neutral description. And this effigy is set to grace our skies once more. What is the official justification for this encore performance?
The blimp, Neil, was acquired by the Museum of London and is now part of the nation's heritage, alongside Magna Carta and the collected works of the Spice Girls. Its reinflation is officially for conservation and structural integrity tests. However, my sources suggest this is also a convenient opportunity to, and I quote, remind everyone what good old-fashioned British satire looks like.
So it's a museum piece. That does add a certain layer of gravitas to the situation. Has there been any word from the president himself? Is he aware that his inflatable doppelganger is being prepared for another public appearance?
We have unconfirmed reports, Neil, that a single 4-word message was transmitted from the White House this morning. The message simply read, "My blimp is bigger." The veracity of this communication is yet to be established, and it has thrown experts into a state of profound confusion. Are they to take the comment literally or as a typically subtle piece of political rhetoric?
A genuine quandary. Now, Susan, we understand that there is a new and quite frankly bewildering development in this story. It concerns a rival blimp.
That's correct, Neil. In the spirit of balanced protest, a crowdfunding campaign has successfully funded a counter-blimp. This new inflatable will depict the current mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, not as a baby, but as a giant sentient bicycle helmet.
A bicycle helmet.
A bicycle helmet, Neil. The symbolism is, as yet, unclear. Organizers of the helmet blimp have only stated that it represents a commitment to cycle lanes and a strong protective outer shell. It is, they insist, a blimp of profound respect.
A blimp of profound respect. It's moments like this, when political discourse seems to have been written by a committee of avant-garde comedians, that we feel it is our duty to engage with the modern vernacular. So, while you digest that particular piece of information, do feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Now, just to be perfectly clear for our viewers, the London skyline will soon be dominated by a giant inflatable baby and an equally giant sentient bicycle helmet locked in a silent, buoyant standoff. This is the state of modern political discourse.
It is a potent visual metaphor, Neil. The precise altitude of each blimp is currently the subject of intense and occasionally heated negotiations between the rival factions. There are concerns that if they were to collide, the resulting sound could be, and I'm quoting a senior aeronautical advisor here, as mildly disappointing.
One shudders to think. Susan, what of the public reaction? Are Londoners preparing for this blimp-based battle for the heavens?
The public response has been characteristically stoic, Neil. Pigeon fanciers across the capital have reportedly expressed concerns about the potential for avian confusion. There are also unverified reports of a black market emerging for prime blimp viewing locations, with some rooftop owners allegedly charging a premium for what they are calling a front row seat to the apocalypse of absurdity.
It's a sad indictment of our times. And what of the authorities? How are they preparing to police this unprecedented aerial confrontation?
The Metropolitan Police have, in their words, dusted off the big net. They have also, I'm told, been in consultation with leading experts in the field of very large, slow-moving objects. This has apparently involved a lengthy and surprisingly informative conference call with the British Tortoise Society.
Finally, Susan, we hear whispers of a third blimp. Is there any truth to these rumors?
The situation is fluid, Neil. However, I can confirm that a splinter group of radicalized librarians has launched a campaign for a blimp depicting a giant inflatable shushing finger. They claim it is a nonpartisan statement on the general noise levels of modern life. They have, at the time of this broadcast, raised a grand total of £17 and 42 pence. Their dream, for now, remains grounded.
Thank you, Susan, for that truly illuminating report from the very front line of inflatable diplomacy. So, as a giant baby and a sentient bicycle helmet prepare for a gentle and almost certainly underwhelming aerial ballet, the world holds its breath, or at least looks up and says, Good night.